everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner, and this is my review for Insecure Season 2, Episode 7. I'm feeling, what is it? Oh, hella disrespectful. This episode, bitch. Let's just get it started, because there was a lot of disrespectful shit going on all up and through. So we see that Issa and Molly are on the phone having a conversation, and Issa is telling Molly about, you know what I'm saying, cum shot face gate. Yeah, cum shot face gate. And Molly's like, what? He did what? And she's like, yeah, you know, I feel hella disrespected. No, she just said I feel hella embarrassed, what she said. And Molly like, fuck that shit, we gotta go over there. And she's like, no, you know, I don't want to see him out, you know, I just feel embarrassed. And she was like, you ain't gotta do shit. And this, you know what I'm saying, that's how you ride for your best friend. When your best friend call you, like, you know what I'm saying, somebody did some bullshit, it's time to go through. And Molly was amped as fuck, like, we gonna go over there, we gonna fill up a water bottle with some with some eggs, and I'm gonna give him a motherfucker, which is an egg, which is a I'm gonna shoot him with some cum eggs. I'm like, cum eggs, Molly. I mean, at least she didn't say, like, go get, like, some cow sperm and get, like, sperm on him. But she was like, you know, just do a drive-by egg shooting with the goddamn water gun. And, you know, Issa like, no, you know, it's okay. I just feel embarrassed. I feel stupid. I can't believe he would do that to me. Molly was then one saying, you know, that was mad disrespectful. So it was Molly who was saying that coming in her face was disrespectful. As I said, this is a conversation that me and my friends had on Facebook the week before the episode aired. And it was funny because this was the whole conversation. It was, if a guy come on your face, is that disrespectful? Guys were saying, it's not disrespectful. You know, some girls like it. Some girls ask for it. If you're going to be a freak, and blah, 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 blah. Most of the women said it's disrespectful. The only women who said it wasn't disrespectful was women who liked it. I don't know why a person, you know, whatever. But I think most women would feel like it's disrespectful. Just because, I mean, just why would you want to do that? But the thing about it was, Issa did not say she felt disrespectful. She just said she felt embarrassed. But I guess embarrassment and disrespect is kind of it can kind of be the same feeling a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the person. But, you know, Molly was like, that was disrespectful. If my friend called me and told me some guy she was messing with came in her face and she ain't like it and she ain't know, I think I would be like, girl, that's the hell yeah, that's wrong. However, it's all about communication with your partner. Issa got cum in her face because her and Daniel didn't have a conversation. She just wanted to give him some head. And she said, it's like, I was just trying to give him some head to let him know that he was special to me. And that's all fine and dandy. But the fact remains, when you want to make somebody feel special, you still have that special conversation. You know what I'm saying? You at least say, in between tugs and pulls on his dick, you can come up and say, hey, let me know before you come. Or, hey, don't come on my face, or whatever. They didn't have that conversation. So, but Molly like, you know, I'm not going to judge you. It's okay. And, no. Yeah, that's what Molly said. Then Molly like, well, you know, since we on the conversation of, you know, not judging people, you know what I'm saying? You know how I said me and Joe was going to be a one-time thing? And she's like, yeah. She was like, and then Issa said, yeah. And she was like, well, you know, we've been doing it a couple more times. She was like, what? You know, I thought it was going to be just a one-time thing. She was like, well, no, you know, now we're up to like 17 times and it's not stopping no time soon. And Molly was like, so y'all having an affair? And she was like, no, you know, they're in a situation. They have an open marriage. And Issa was like, okay, I guess, like, where is it going? And she was like, well, I don't know, you know, but, you know, it just is what it is right now. And again, Issa was like, okay, but she was saying it in a judgmental tone. But, you know, it's a difference between somebody you sleeping with coming to your face and your friend fucking a married man. It's two different things. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't judge my friend. Yes, I would. I would. You know what? I wouldn't judge my friend, but I would make sure that they knew I don't think it's okay for you to be fucking a married man. But that's your life, but we'll do what you want. But I wouldn't do that, and I don't know why you're doing it, but do what you want to do. You know, it is what it is. So, you know, when Molly realized that Issa had like a judgmental tone, she was like, are you judging me? And she was like, how you gonna be judging me? I didn't judge your whole station. And she's like, but that was different. I knew what I was getting into. She was like, girl, how you talking? You just got a surprise cum shot to the face. None of that was low, Molly. Okay, that you know she already feel embarrassed. Come on now, Molly, what's wrong with you? So they both get a little tense, and they both realize it's going a little bit too far. So then Issa's like, Malibu, I'm just trying to look out. And then Molly's like, Malibu, you do you, and I'ma do me. And I'm like, they must mean Malibu means that's a safe word. I think all friends should have a safe word. A safe word means if you have a tendency to kind of butt heads with your friend, and before things get too far, say your safe word. So that means, hey, I'm starting to feel offended. It's starting to go a little bit too far. We need to stop it right now. Say one sentence and that's it. And that's what they did. And they kind of ended their conversation. So next we see Issa is on the bus going to work or coming home. We know that she catches the bus. Because obviously, Issa ain't got no goddamn car insurance. Or she ain't got no renter's insurance. Or something. Because she ain't on the bus. And trust me, I didn't have car insurance for a long time here. Because it's expensive. But I have it now. Yeah. Well, no, I had it for a while now, actually. Anywho. But she's on the bus and she's sitting next to that same Latino student who was the one who ran up into the room and took their candy. It's that same kid. And he pulls out a SAT book or PSAT book as it says on here. And she looks over and she was like, the test is multiple choice, so if you can close your eyes and just pick whatever, and you can probably still pass. And she's like, but no, not really, don't do that, you'll flunk. And he kind of laughs or whatever. She then says something, we have tutoring for the PSAT, and we got y'all should come through, and, we can help. And he says, well, we tried to, but Mr. Gaines, principal, said, told me and my friends that it was full. And Issa kind of looked strangely because she's like, again, she didn't even know that the Latino kids were attempting to come to the thing. She thought it was just the black kids. So now she, of course, feels some kind of way because he is really stopping the Latino kids from doing things. So the next thing we see is Lawrence is at work, and he is talking to his coworkers or whatever, and they're saying, yeah, you missed, this event we went to this weekend. And he was like, yeah, my allergies was all crazy, so, sorry I missed it. And they're like, oh, well, what else did you do? And then he was like, oh, nothing, to stay at home or whatever. And they were like, wait, but didn't you and her go to, go somewhere? I can't remember what they said right now. Don't know why I can't remember. And it's the same coworker girl, and I cannot pronounce her name. But it's the same girl who, when he was at the first party, who came up and said, come on, let's go, let's have some fun. It's the same girl who he went to about his woo idea, and she was like, they ain't gonna like it. It's that same girl who looks like she might be Pakistani, because that's what she looks like. I don't know how else to explain her. And he's like, oh, yeah, we did, oh, yeah, we did, yeah, but we just, yeah. And then they're like, what did y'all do? And he's like, oh, nothing, we just hung out. And then she was like, yeah, that's the same thing I said. And they were like, are you two a couple? And he was like, no, we just had drinks. So clearly, Lawrence fucking that girl. Okay, but we saw that coming last episode, that he was gonna fuck that girl. So clearly him and the girl hanging out. They then have a separate thing of him going to the girl like, hey, about the break room thing, that was kind of weird. And she was like, well, yeah, but I just, told them something simple. And he was like, well, yeah, because I've kind of messed things up before doing stuff like this, I don't want to mess things up with you. And she was like, well, are we a thing? And he was like, yeah, so I just kind of don't want everyone at our business. And she's like, okay, cool, are we still gonna meet up for drinks or whatever? And they're like, yeah. So they again going out for drinks, whatever. Little bit we see Molly ratting with her black coworker from Chicago. It's the guy Lil Rayo. I don't know if they've ever said his name on the show. I just thought it was Lil Rayo. He's a comedian. He was in Get Out. He was on the Carmichael show, but I don't know what his name is on this show, honestly. I don't think, I'm like, have they ever said it? I can't remember, but you get the gist of it. However, they're riding in the car together, and he's putting her on to some new kind of popcorn, so they laughing and joking or whatever. And he's like, well, I'm gonna be in town, in a couple weeks or next week, so yeah. And she's like, oh, you trying to take my job? And he was like, no, but maybe I want you to take me out And he said it like, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to, I'm shooting my shot. And she was just like, oh. And she kept eating her popcorn. So I kept saying when I first, I think last episode, because they keep putting him in little places here and there, and him and Molly keep like talking or whatever. So I kept saying like, I know he either gonna like her, or he gonna try to flirt with her. And we know Molly bad with people who might be good for her, who try to flirt with her. She kind of blow them off, and so that's gonna eventually happen anyway. We see that Issa and Frida have made up in this particular scene because Issa feels bad now that she knows the principal is stopping the Latino kids from learning things. She comes up to Frida. She's like, yeah, I have this idea that I wrote down about how we can get the numbers higher for the Latinos in our program. And she gives it to Frida. Frida like, oh, and she kind of smiles. Because at first, she was a bit standoff, like, what do you want? And she's like, oh, I have this idea. So when she reads Molly's ideas, she smiles and she laughs. And she's like, oh, I was having the same ideas. It's so funny how even when we're fighting, we're on the same wavelength or whatever. And then she's like, so they kind of talk a little bit about how they both have the same thought process. And then Frida's like, what changed with you? And she was like, well, I've been going through some things and I kind of got off track. I wasn't myself. She was like, but anyway, I was wrong. You was right, and I apologize. I'm sorry. So she did say sorry. She didn't say, I know for a fact he doing things wrong, but she at least admitted that she was sorry. So they're in a better place as friends or co-workers, as I would say. Because I always say there's a difference between somebody being your friend and someone being your goddamn co-worker. There is a difference. We see Dre and Molly together. Molly's at home. He comes to the house. She also gives him some of that popcorn that little real character shared with her. I'm like, okay, you sharing the stuff with people, whatever. So, he then brings up, you're going to, did you get Tiffany's invitation to Derek's birthday party? And she's like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, she had the nerve to tell me that me and Candace had to stick to the color scheme. And Molly was looking like, oh, Candace is coming. And I thought to myself, well, yes, Molly, because that's his wife. Why would his wife not come? I mean, you do know that he is a married man. And he was like, yeah. She's like, oh. So she kind of walked around the apartment or whatever. You're like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, it'll just be the first time that I'll be around her, since whatever. Yeah, since you've been fucking her husband. It has to be pretty awkward to be around the woman who husband you fucking, because you are fucking her husband. And as I said before, because Molly has not had a conversation with Dro's wife, you don't know if what Dro is telling you is accurate. That could be his excuse that he used, because as we see, he don't live in the same city that she live in. And it seemed like his wife, they both travel a lot. So that could be the excuse he used to get pussy from people who he want to sleep with. Me and my wife got an open marriage. I also know because I watched a polygamy show. They showed people who had this open marriage and they had other relationships. And typically, the spouse always met up at least one time with whoever the person was sleeping with, just because it was always open communication. So my thing is, why haven't he and you and her had a conversation? Because you fucking that lady husband, Molly, Lord Jesus. So, but she's saying, yeah, she feel weird because to be the first time she'll be around her since she, again, been fucking that lady husband. And he's like, look, he walks up behind her, gives her a hug. He nestled all up in her neck, which means he's breathing on her neck, so it's making her feel a little bit horny. Because that's what people do. They get all up in your crevices in your neck, and they start breathing, and they make the hair on the back of your neck stand up, and you get all hypnotized. So he's doing that. He's like, look, what we have is new, but we are still us. And my response would have been, well, what the fuck is us? I mean, what are we? Am I your side chick? Am I your girlfriend? Am I the other girl? Like, what are us? What are we? My thing is, you can't tell me, I know this is new, but we still us. But what are we? I mean, who am I to you? You know what I'm saying? Because when your wife called, you had to leave the hotel room. You stopped fingering me to go see about your wife. And now I have to be with you at a party, and we can't act how we want to act because your wife's going to be there. Sure enough. So, yeah. The next scene we see is Issa's at home, and Tiffany texts her like, hey, you still coming to the birthday party? And just to let you know, we gonna invite Lauren. Is that cool with you? Now, you know what I'm saying? I say kudos to Tiffany for hitting Issa up and giving her a heads up. However, that's the hard part about when you and your partner are friends with people and then they break up. Because if he friends with a guy and you friends with a girl and it's his birthday party, how do we handle that? Because my friend gonna feel awkward because her ex-man there, and your friend might feel awkward because his ex-girlfriend is there. So that's hard to even decipher. But me as a person, I'm gonna always put my friend over whoever else, or I'll be like, we can't invite either one of them, or we would have, or no, you do what Tiffany did. You put them both on notice that the other one gonna be there, and you leave it up to them to come. So when Issa got the thing, she took a screenshot of it. And she sent it to Molly, like, did you know Lauren was coming? And she was like, no, of course not. I would have told you. But, you going to still do you, right? So at that moment, Issa on her computer, so she go to look up Lawrence on Facebook. What did she get? That whole little thing that you can't find. And everybody know on Facebook, when someone blocks you and you put their name in and it comes up like where their name can't be found, that means somebody blocked you. And when she see that, she like, this motherfucker then blocks me. And of course she is pissed off. Like, really, my nigga? You gonna block me, my nigga? After 5 years, my nigga? And she's in her little mirror having her little monologue with herself because she's pissed off because Lawrence then blocks her. I would be pissed off too. Bitch, don't block me. My thing is, if you didn't block me for the whole 3 months we were breaking up, why'd you block me now, bitch? And that's the kind of how she was feeling or whatever. After all this time, really, my nigga? You block me, my nigga? I was just a pointer, my nigga? It was kind of funny, you know what I'm saying? She then respond back to Tiffany and say, yeah, I don't care, invite him, it's cool. And that's the end of that. So the next thing that we see is Molly is in a meeting with her bosses at her law firm, and we know Molly is trying to get a raise. That's what she's trying to do. That's another reason why the little real character said, you can take me out, because he was also jokingly saying, once you get a raise, you'll be having more money. You can take me out. I forgot the little part. However, she's just bringing up things that she's been doing at the firm to make her, that shows that she's a great employee and that she basically deserves a raise. And they like, well, yeah, typically, this is what comes up in your, quarterly or yearly review. And she's like, yeah, but what she named two of them, with so-and-so and so-and-so, they got their raises in between time, so I know for a fact that you guys are just, ahead of the curve. You don't wait, you're not pigeonholed to time frames. And she was being really friendly and everything, and they were like, she's like, I'm just a good asset, and this and this and this, and they're like, yeah, that's very true. However, all this will come in handy next year at your review. So they basically let her know, we not giving you a raise right now. Even though you deserve one, we're not going to give it to you. Even though we've given other people raises, we're not going to give it to you. Even though that white man making more money than you, we're not giving you a raise. And of course, she looks a little bit, defeated and sad. But, she lets it go. Issa checks the principal. Now, it was cool because they're at the school and they're passing out the flyers that Issa came up with to all the kids. And when the principal walked past, she's like, can I talk to you real fast? And he's like, yeah, so what's up, She then says, I don't know if you got the wrong idea or the wrong impression. I don't know if you thought that the success of this program doesn't really mean anything to me, but that's wrong. That's not true. I think it needs to include everyone, including the Latino kids. And he like, I thought, what are you talking about? I thought we had an understanding. The program is full, right? And she's like, yeah. And he like, and it's doing good, right? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, so what's the problem here? You know what I'm saying? Why are you coming to me on some all lives matter type shit? Meaning, you came here to do a program. There's a whole bunch of black kids in there. The program is working. Why you acting like you have to help the Latino kids? Why can't you help whoever's in there? Hence the all life matters comment. And he kind of walks away. So Frida. No, when he walks away, no, that's not what happened. When he said that, when he said the all life matter shit, Frida then walks up and she's like, hey, we just want, the program to represent everyone. And he looked at Frida like, bitch, why are you talking to me? Like, I wasn't even talking to you. I'm talking to the black girl. And he kind of looked at her like she was just dirt or something. And then he was like, look, it is what it is. And then he starts to walk away. Issa then kind of says out loud, "You're not allowing Latino kids to be in the program." And then she says it so people kind of stop and then look about, you're turning down Latinos. And he kind of stopped and he was like, "What?" And he starts laughing. He was like, "Girl, calm down. Ain't nobody dead." And he walks away. And I'm like, clearly, he is a very racist person, and he doesn't even get that he's racist. And it's exactly kind of what Frida said, that because he's black, he doesn't see himself as being a racist, but he really is. He is pigeonholed, or he's holding down the Latino kids on purpose, and he doesn't care that he's doing it. So yeah. Next we see Lawrence, and he's telling the girl that he liked, or that he's kicking it with, the girl at his job. He's like, "Hey, can we push our drinks and stuff back to 10 p.m.? I got something that came up, and I can't make it at 7, so can we do 10? And then she's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And he was like, "Oh, well, I have a party for a friend that I have to go to. My ex is going to be there, so I was going to kind of meet you later." And then she was like, "Well, we can just probably do it for a different day, or I can just go with you." Lawrence says, "Oh, okay, sure." And he kind of agrees for her to go. And I'm like, "Lawrence, why the fuck would you do that?" This is the rule. When you break up with somebody, the first time y'all see each other in a group setting, when y'all have the same set of friends, you can't bring a date. I mean, you just can't. You can't bring a date, because y'all haven't had that awkward first time around each other, around people moment yet. Lawrence consistently does fuck nigga shit without thinking. Basically because Lawrence is kind of stupid. He just doesn't know stuff, is what I'm going to say. Because when she said, "Or you can just take me," you should have said, no. Because for one, she don't know them people. And most of the females there are friends with Issa. So why would you want to put the girl in an awkward situation? That's a fight start. It is. So, but Lawrence don't think like that. So Lawrence like, "Okay, cool, you can go." Stupid Lawrence. So the next thing we see is Daniel, and he's calling Issa's phone. Issa answers, and she's like, "What do you want?" And he's like, "Look, just let me talk to you. I just want to, can I talk to you?" And she's like, "What?" And then he's like, "I just wanted to apologize to you about what happened. I'm sorry." And then she's like, "You embarrassed me. I can't believe you would do that to me. It's me. Why would you do that? That was so embarrassing. I can't believe you did that." And then he goes into, the whole, "I fucked up. My bad. I didn't mean to do it. I thought you were into it, but you wasn't. I'm sorry. It was fucked up. I'm sorry. Can you please forgive me?" And he keeps saying, "Please, please, please." And she's like, "Shut up. This is why are we always, why is our situation always messy? Why is it always fucked up?" And he like, "I don't know." And he kind of laughs. So the mood is a little bit, not tense. And then things get awkward. And he then says, "I guess we even now." And she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Because we both did something fucked up, so, we kind of even now." And she's like, "Are you saying that you did it on purpose?" And he was like, No, that's not what I'm trying to say." And she was like, "So you know what I'm saying, you was on some petty get back type shit, nigga?" And he's like, "No, you thinking too much in this. That's not what I'm saying." He like, "All I'm saying is, now you know how I felt." I'm like, why the fuck did he say that? Because saying, "Now you know how I felt," it do seem like you was on some petty nigga shit, and you were trying to make me feel how you felt. And when he said that, she was not happy. She's like, "You are so fucking disrespectful. Don't call me again. I can't believe you." And she's pissed off because it did, when he said it, it really did sound like he was trying to say that he did it on purpose. Even though watching the scene, you knew he didn't do it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and the only way you could say this is the part where I felt like Issa was on some fuck girl shit. When she got mad at him for saying that, she said it as if he asked her to suck his dick. And then when she sucked his dick, he came in her face. That ain't what happened. Y'all was about to have sex. And you stopped the sexual encounter to perform a sexual act on him. So, and I don't think while getting head, his thought process was, I'm gonna come on her face so that she can feel embarrassed, she can feel how I felt. So my thing is, I didn't see how Issa tried to put it on him as in, you tried to get me back for what I did to you and you ain't shit. And not a thing of, it was something that was real fucking embarrassing, but he didn't do it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? He didn't, part of sex is knowing what to do when the guy is about to come. I don't know how else to say that. And, you know, for me, it kind of showed how Issa, on that subject, was unstable in her thinking. I don't know if it's because she got so much other stuff going on, or if she just still felt so embarrassed that she kind of just wanted a reason to not deal with him anymore. And he gave her a great reason by making her think in her head that he came in her eye on purpose. But I was still like, you know, that's crazy. Begins like, you so fucking disrespectful. Hence the title of this episode, hella disrespectful, because she did say that to him. Molly said it to her, saying what he did was disrespectful as well. So she hang up her phone and she go out to her brother's car because they going to the party. And she get in her brother's car and she slams the door. He was like, man, what's wrong with you? And she was like, niggas, because you know. And I mean, that's true. So yeah. Now we're at the party. You know, we see that Kelly is still that guy who was finger fucking her at the goddamn party. They still kicking it. And we also see that Candace and Dro is there. So, you know, Dro walks up to Molly and he says, and I want to say French, oh, you wearing my favorite dress? And she's like, oh, yeah, I am. And I'm like, why would you, how he got a favorite dress? Like, yeah, I mean, really? Favorite dress? But whatever. And it's awkward for her because, again, his wife is there. So when Candace walk up, hey, Molly, and they kind of hug, and then Molly's awkward, you know, spills a drink, and he's like, oh, no, I'll get you another one. He goes and gets another drink. And they're kind of, Candace and Molly are standing there, like, with idle chit-chat. And Molly seems nervous. Candace didn't so much. And they kind of, you know, started chit-chatting, and it was cool. So then, like, okay, it's time for everyone to sit down. So Molly sits down next to Dro. And then Tiffany was like, Molly, we have placed name tags. No, we have table seating things or whatever. You know, this isn't a free-for-all. You know, you have to sit where your name is. So Molly's seat was all the way like across the table. So she went to her seat. Who else? Issa and her brother walk in. They know they come in. They have a seat. And then Lawrence and old girl walk in, and the whole table looking like, the fuck? And he's like, oh shit. He's like, I didn't know it was like a sit down dinner. You know, I didn't know. And they're like, okay, no, we'll just pull up a chair. So they're like, okay, can everybody sit down? So they have to now make room for Lawrence and this girl. So, you know, they sit down and everything, and it's just awkward. Issa on one side, she does look pissed. Molly on one side, she's still looking awkward because Dro and his wife are sitting right there. And then you have Lawrence and his new boo, or his girl he sleep with, or the girl he kicking it with, at the other end of the table. So it's just very, very awkward. So then he's like, oh, you know, guys, this is so-and-so. Again, I cannot pronounce her name. And she's like, or you can just call me, you know, random girl who came to Derek's birthday. Ha, 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 ha. Lame ass joke. It didn't go over well. So, again, awkward dinner. Everyone's kind of just sitting there looking around. So then they kind of skip over to, okay, now the food has came. People has gotten some drinks in their system. And it's multiple conversations going on. You know, you at a party or at a table with everybody, and then everybody talking, and it's like 8 different conversations because it's so many people. You can't really be, it can't be one conversation. So we can see that Molly feels awkward because she's on one end and she can't join the conversation that Dro is having because she's trying her best to be heard. As he's talking, she's saying, oh yeah, da da da. Molly, boo, they can't hear you down there. They really can't. So yeah. We then see Issa and Lawrence keep looking at each other. And, you know, it's just a back and forth thing. She rolling her eyes because at one point she then see Lawrence, and he kind of rubs his hand down the girl's arm. And so that kind of pisses her off, and she gets up and she walks out. Lawrence and Issa's conversation. Talk about hella disrespectful. Man, Molly is out. Issa's out front. Lawrence come out behind her. And he like, look, can we talk? You know, I didn't know, you know, I didn't bring her to be. He was like, you a real fuck nigga. And he's like, what? And she's like, you just gonna bring a date, you know, and have her all in my face. You just couldn't wait to parade her around in my face. And he's like, no, that ain't what I was trying to do. He's like, and you blocked me. And he like, you fucking right, I blocked you. And it's man. You know, I blocked you because I didn't want to see the nigga you was fucking on my goddamn timeline. I didn't want to see you keep posting pictures of y'all. And she's like, I didn't post no pictures. Like, I don't give a fuck posting the pictures. I'm like, y'all really arguing outside this restaurant loudly and cussing and fussing. And he's like, you still fucking that nigga? You still fucking the nigga? And she like, why? Why do you care? And he was like, oh, so you still fucking him? You still fucking him? I knew it. You know what I'm saying? Who else did you fuck when we was together? She's like, really, nigga? I'm like, really, Lawrence? This is my thing with Lawrence and Issa. They were kind of going back and forth. But Lawrence really making it seem like Issa was out here cheating on him. I mean, she cheated. And you got so mad when you found out that you didn't listen to her to see what she did. Even if you wasn't going to be with her anymore, you don't have to try to act like that she was really out here fucking different niggas. I mean, she fucked one dude. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what she did. So, you know, it was just crazy. So, she like, whatever, you was over here fucking, you know, the bitch from the bank, from your job. Really? That bitch? You fucking that bitch? And he like, oh, so what, she worse than you being the, fucking a fake ass producer and being his goddamn, and being his jump off? I'm like, damn, you calling Issa a jump off to the fake ass producer? Really, Lawrence? Really, nigga? I'm like, oh my God. And he like, yeah, I bet he was a real fucking gentleman. Now, see, when he said that, I had two thoughts. One, I mean, Issa, you did fuck that man in the studio on the couch. The other nigga was sitting on with the smell of weed all around. And then, you know what I'm saying, he did later on come in your eyes. So, I mean, that was a shot to Issa's soul because she like, he was not being really gentle like when he came in my face. And then she was like, he got more going on than you. He got more going on than woo-woo. I'm like, oh, you're going to attack this man's project that just got shot down and he ain't doing it no more. And she's like, you know, was it worth it? Was worth all the time I spent supporting your depressed ass? And he was like, ooh, probably not as much time as you spent being a hoe. Lawrence. Jesus. Really, Lawrence? I'm like, nigga. And the whole conversation stops. The girl then walks out. She was like, Lawrence? And he was like, let's go. I'm like, nigga. I just couldn't believe it. Like, I could not believe the whole... It was a hella disrespectful conversation between them two. It wasn't only Lawrence being rude to her. It was her being rude to him. But when he said, probably not as much time as you spent being a fucking hoe, I was like, damn, that was disrespectful. That was a low blow. A low blow for no reason though. But that's what happens when you haven't seen your ex in a minute. Y'all haven't had a conversation. It's an argument always ensues. That's just how it happens sometimes. And they had a hell of a goddamn argument. So, you know, Lawrence and the girl walk away. Issa kind of looks shocked because, I mean, it was a disrespectful conversation for sure. So next in the restaurant, we see they're singing happy birthday to Derek. Dro gets up to go to the bathroom. Molly gets up about 10-15 seconds after he gets up. And she's like, you know, so she goes the same kind of way he goes or whatever. No one sees it or nothing like that. But, you know, she gets up and she goes. And, you know, she kind of follows him to the bathroom area. And she's like, Dro. And he's like, yeah, you know, it's a kind of crazy night. She's like, yeah, you know, it is. And she's like, you know, you guys look so in love. You know, the way you guys are together, you know, I didn't expect that. You know, with the fact that y'all have an open marriage. And he's like, you know, well, yeah, you know, it's kind of how it is. And she's like, you know, it just looks so special. And then he was like, you're special too. The next thing we see is these two motherfuckers is fucking in the goddamn bathroom. You gonna fuck this man in the bathroom in the restaurant? His wife is out in the is out there. Like she out there. Like she out there. And y'all both gone. What if somebody come in? Y'all in the men's bathroom, or I don't know what bathroom it was in. I'm gonna say the men's bathroom. Fucking on the goddamn sink, bitch. That ain't what you do with somebody else's husband. That's what you do with a man who is single and you dating him. You want him to be your husband. That was some disrespectful shit on both levels. Y'all were, cause again, we don't know if they marriage really open. I still don't believe they got a goddamn open marriage. I don't hear nobody say. So, they finished fucking, and he, giving her a kiss or whatever, make her feel special. He kind of put his shirt on and stuff. He was like, all right, I'm gonna go out first. You wait a little bit, and then you can come out. And then reality hits. We can't even walk out together because this ain't my man. This somebody's husband, and he don't want anyone to know that we fucking. And my thing is, if you have an open relationship with your wife, do it matter when you fucking? It's open, right? So why we gotta be a secret? Why can't we walk out together? You know what I'm saying? Why can't we do that? Because you ain't got no damn open marriage. So, she fixes her clothes or whatever, and then she kind of walks out. When she goes out the bathroom, guess who outside the bathroom? Now, when she walked out and she looked, I'm looking like, oh my God, it's going to be his wife. But no, it was Issa. So Issa's sitting there, and she looking at Molly, and she fixes Molly's clothes because of her clothes, and she fixes her hair because her hair was a little bit disheveled still. Fixed her clothes a little bit. And she's like, thank you. She then pulls the price tag off of Issa's dress, and Issa like, I was going to return this dress. But I'm like, that was Molly just being a bitch. At that point, we see Molly calls her mom, who she's been avoiding. And she's like, why don't you stay with Dad? And she was like, it's going to sound stupid, but, I just really loved him, and that's the reason why I stayed. And then she was like, how were you able to get over, the hurt and the pain? And she was like, to be honest, I don't know if I ever did. She's like, all I know is he made me feel more special than hurt. He made me feel special more than he hurt me. I'm like, you know what? That's the most real answer I have ever heard from someone who has overcame someone cheating. Some people say, oh, we prayed, or not. I won't say, no, I'm not going to say that. Some people say we went to counseling. We were able to work through it. But what she said was, he made me feel special enough to where what he did no longer affected me in that way. I wasn't hurt anymore in that way because he made me feel different. And I'm like, I'm with that. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's a good thing to do. So, the ending scene of the episode is we see, Lawrence, the old girl, is out having drinks. And they start kissing. Lawrence, I can't stand your ass. We then see Dro text Molly, like, I'm going to be in town next Thursday, can we hook up? And Molly responds back and says, I can't do this anymore. And she puts her phone down. Bravo, Molly, stop fucking that lady's husband. We see Issa get home, and it's like a letter or a note on her door. So she goes into her apartment, she opens it up, and it is a rent increase notice from her apartment people. And she kind of balls it up. She looks around her apartment. She sees the burnt ceiling, and she just flips out. She just ransacks her living room, her house. She's just breaking stuff, and because she's mad. Lawrence just put a bunch of reality thoughts into my head, where I'm fucking Daniel, and he wasn't nice, and he called me a hoe, and my rent going up in this punk ass apartment where the goddamn ceiling is burnt. You know what I'm saying? I can't get my car fixed because I ain't got no money, and now my rent going up. So just full of fucking frustration, she reacted, and she just, I have had those moments where I'm like, I wish I could just break every fucking thing. But I won't do that because it's my own shit, okay? I don't want to break my own stuff because I got to buy more things. But I can totally get her being so frustrated of that night. And she was like, it was, throwing chairs. She just ransacked the fucking apartment. Screaming, just letting out her frustrations. And, and her anger. Because she also probably has because my friend is fucking a married man. You know, Lawrence got a new bitch and he blocked me on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? My friend, husband party, showing how much she in love with him. It was a lot. And so that is how the episode went off. Great episode. You know, it was a lot of disrespect on all levels. Can't wait for the season finale next week. So, I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. Drop your comments below. And see you next time, people. Peace.